Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement and the first episode of My Mom's Basement in 2023, presented by Barstool Sports. I am your host, Robbie Fox. With me is my co-host, Clem. And I hope that this episode sounds a lot better than all of the previous episodes because we just passed Christmas and my lovely girlfriend got me a new microphone for Christmas. So you're actually hearing my Christmas present as you listen to or watch this podcast.
Lady Fox coming through for the listeners, coming through for our sweet baby boy Robbie, and you're sounding great, bud. You finally sound as good as you look, pal. So,
nice, thank you.
We build each other up here in the basement. That's what we do, right? So, shout out to Lady Fox. She crushed it, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. Because anytime we hear you on this pod or any other pods, Bob Fox has the fresh new mic out, and it looks good, it sounds good, and we are ready to roll.
How was your break? How was the Christmas, New Year's celebration? Obviously, with kids, I feel like it's like a little more fun, but also a little more hectic.
Yes, very much both. You, and Glenny Balls hosted the last rundown of the year, which I don't know how many people saw that as soon as it went, but it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time had by all there. We had big thing for Christmas this year was a trip to Disney World for the kids, completely surprising them. We had this whole grand scheme planned out. We were going to have a Mickey Mouse balloon filled up with helium. And then at the bottom of the balloon, were going to be 2 boarding passes. And it was going to say you're going to Disney World. Kids have never been on a plane before. So that's kind of, the other side of it. And we're just expecting Nintendo 64 reactions,
Yeah.
right? Like that's, as a parent, like you said, the difference between like when you're a kid, those are the reactions you want to get on Christmas. When you're a parent, that's what you want to see. When you're in that middle phase, kind of where you guys are, you're hoping to get like a nice practical gift that will work, like Lady Fox got. Maybe Mama Fox gives some nice stuff under the tree, whatever. So that's all we're thinking of. Well, that Christmas here, it was that time where it went from like 50 degrees to like 0 degrees in like a day. And we put the balloon in a place. We wrapped it up in a box and we put it in a place where the temperature wasn't going to change. We thought we were all good. Sienna opens up the present. Balloon just stays in there. Does not come out at all.
Oh, no. It doesn't float up at all?
Doesn't float up. She's like,
what is dead?
It's just a Mickey Mouse balloon, basically, half like
Yeah.
a quarter inflated. They rip it open. They see the boarding pass. And Sienna, read it to AJ and tell him what you guys got. She's like, we are going to Disney World. She's like, oh, wow, that's cool. I'm like, what do you mean that's cool? Thousands upon thousands of dollars is not that's cool. That's not what we're looking for right now. So we're like, keep reading the boarding pass. And on the boarding pass, it says we're going on vacation with a couple of our friends who have kids. Sienna's like best friend. She lives like 2 hours away though, so they don't see each other a lot. And she's like, oh my God, we're going with the Bibbles. So she starts freaking out. She's like, yeah, we're going. I'm going to see Olivia. So then AJ goes, yeah, and pulls his pants down, just straight butt cheeks out. And I'm like, that's the reaction I was looking for. I was like, that's kind of like a creep reaction. I don't know if that's going to get you put on a list. Is if you to exhibit happiness, you pull your pants or your underwear down to your ankles. But we got that expression out of AJ, and then he also got like a little quad. And it was almost like he knew he was getting the quad. It was just sitting there with a bow on it, and he just started riding it around the house. So those were the 2 good reactions. So all in all,
pants off.
Pants. The pants stayed on for the quad, so I guess we'll put Disney higher on the list than the quad right now. But the reactions were good. But like you said, man, so much work. I'm exhausted. I did more work just keeping them in line during Christmas than I did. So it was just good. It's good to get back in the basement and we can get our nerdy stuff out. My goal every Christmas break is to like watch movies and like just settle in, kind of like unplug from work as much as we can because it's always like in our lives. And I watched 3 movies 3 days in a row. And that was it. I didn't watch any movies any other time, but we watched 3 movies 3 days in a row. So I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about here. How about that? So everything was good with the Fox World?
Oh yeah, everything was. It was a great Christmas. We had like the brother and his kids come over from Michigan. We celebrated Foxmas a little early. Went out to Ohio with the girlfriend's family. That was nice as well. In Ohio, it was even fucking colder, -15. Reynolds Bob doesn't deal with that well, so I was just staying indoors the whole time. Let me ask you this before we get to the movies, because I saw some of the movies you saw as well, and I want to talk to you about them. Is there any present that could make you just pull your pants off right away? Like if you woke up on Christmas morning and your wife like had the DeLorean in your driveway, would you just pull the pants right off?
A working
is there something from Die Hard?
I'm trying to think of like I was saying like a working infinity gauntlet, but that would basically be a superpower, and it would
What if
probably
she's
kill
like,
me.
this is the gauntlet that like, they used in the movie and as a
Yes,
prop or an actual prop, like pants off?
that is it right there. 1,000%. That would be it. The legit gauntlet from the movie, and I'm just wearing it everywhere. That's it. I might take my pants off right now just thinking about this right now, and I may be doing some crazy stuff. What about you? What about Bob? Does Bob have a thing like Luke's
I'm not a
lightsaber?
car guy, right? But I think it would be the Adam West Batmobile. And it doesn't
Mm.
even have to be like, I don't want the prop that was used by him or anything. They make replicas that look the same way. I actually made my girlfriend watch the 1966 Batman movie for the first time over break. I was like, listen, this was my all-time favorite movie as a kid. I watched the VHS so many times that it broke, and my parents had to get me a new VHS. So like it was to the point where my sister knows that movie line for line, and she's like, oh my God, with the bat shark repellent spray and all that. But it's one of my favorites, and I think that would be the first thing that comes to mind of like, if I hit the lottery, I would have that car.
I that's a good one. That's definitely a good one.
But like you said, Luke's lightsaber, Luke's X-Wing helmet, like something like that, like anything from Star Wars could probably get the pants off from me.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the pants off. I'm trying to think like I'm looking at Die Hard. I'm trying to think like gun props or anything else. Like I don't know if there's the used
I know,
shirt.
like the lighter
The
from
lighter
Die
would be
Hard,
good too.
like that'd be cool.
Yeah. And then let's see, like an original R2D2, like the legit R2D2.
Oh, the one that Kenny Baker was in.
Yes, exactly. Because I'm already getting ready for Disney, and I'm looking at that build your own droid down there in Disney, and I'm like, it's a couple $100. I'm like, there's no way that's life size R2D2. So I almost feel like I can't make a little mini R2D2 because I'm only going to want a bigger one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about the next level up. So I'm an R2 guy. R2, or if my wife just gave me the Millennium Falcon and it's just sitting in the fucking drop, like, what are we going to do with that? That thing can't fly. We don't have Chewie around to fix it up. So that's a good question. I want to hear what people have to say. Like, what is your pants off gift?
What gets your pants off?
Yeah, what gets your pants off? And then New Year's as a parent is very different, obviously, than when you're younger. And we used to go out. We'd spend $100 for an open bar that kind of sucked. You'd have a couple appetizers. You just look for the pigs in a blanket. Pray to God they have at least a couple pigs in a blanket, so you feel like you spent your money the right way. As a parent, you're just sitting in. We played board games with Sienna. We played what were the two games? We played Parcheesi, which sounds like an old person move, but it's like a newer version of Parcheesi where they're, instead of just like old school board game pieces, they look like animals. So we played Parcheesi with her, and we played, what was the other board game? We played another one with her, and she was just absolutely Ticket to Ride, A+ game. I don't know.
Ticket to Ride, a Beatles game?
No, it's not not a Beatles game. It's like a train game that you build trains across the country. It's very cool, very fun game. We have the kids one for her, and we just played it all night. And she was just so over the moon in love with board games. Are you a big board game guy?
I am, but I don't really play board games a lot. Like growing up, we did it, and I loved board games. But like now in life, I don't have like a friend group where we get together and do game nights or anything like that. So I love board games, but I don't really get to play them a lot.
Yeah, our friend group is actually the friend group we're going to Disney with. They were the board game people that we had before they moved away. So my parents are board game people too, so we try to get down there. I got Catan.
Let's do more board game. Like let's do videos. Doing board games this year.
That is a official resolution of the basement this year.
Get people together from Barstool. Get Kevin. Get Brendan if he's in the area. Get Fights. Like all people that have been on the podcast before, and even people that haven't. Go to Barstool and we'll play a board game. We'll film it, cut it down to the best 20 minutes or whatever. I bet that would work.
It's like game time for olds, basically.
Yeah.
Right? It's the old school version of game time. I would be 100% down for that. And the best part about New Year's with kids, at like 8:00, you go on YouTube and you find like a video and they'll do the whole countdown. We find this one every year, and they have like, it has a bunch of whatever the hottest songs were of the year. And then it'll have like a Baby Yoda dancing. They'll have the Avengers dancing. And it's just all these videos these people steal from other parts of the internet. And then 10 minutes later,
you tell her it's midnight.
You 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. This year, AJ is now young enough where we can still do that with him. Sienna, my 8-year-old daughter, the love of my life, stayed up till by herself from 11 to 12. My wife and I were passed out. She woke us all up at 11:45 and we watched the ball drop together. It was absolutely tremendous. She's like, Dad, I was really tired at about 11:30 and I just kept blinking my eyes until they like got me awake again. So she got us all up, and we all got to see the ball drop together. She woke up AJ, and it was a big, happy family New Year's. Did you make it up to 12?
That's beautiful. I did make it up to 12, but for another reason. My girlfriend, as I mentioned, is from Ohio, and Ohio State was playing a football game right up till midnight, and it came down to a kick that they completely choked away at the stroke of midnight. So I went Happy New Year right after Ohio State lost, and I just got a look, you know?
And this is an Ohio State family, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Oh, Bob, that is a nightmare. That is
Now, what made it
nightmare.
a little better, I will admit, she didn't go to Ohio State. So she grew up rooting for them, but she went to OU and they won the Barstool Bowl. So the day before, I was like, all right, come on, we got our win here. The more important game, the Barstool Bowl. Come on.
Oh, I was 100% going behind the Bobcats because I know you were. Obviously, Lady Fox is an alum. Bobcats. I mean, that's my guy, Bob. And then did you see the video? They had Wyoming. They interviewed the Wyoming kids. They said, who are your favorite content people at Barstool? And they're like, Caleb, Glenny, like Will Compton. And I'm just waiting for a Clem. Didn't get a Clem. I'm like, let's go Bobcats. Fuck Wyoming.
Fuck 'em. Yeah.
Fuck them.
Bobcats, and they put on a great game. It's actually a really fun watch. And I'm not just saying that because obviously we're biased because of Barstool. It was a good game. Came down to the final plays, and the broadcast itself was hysterical. It was like Rough and Rowdy for football.
Yes, Rough and Rowdy for football. Perfect way. Damn near 1 million people tuned in, according to that
crazy
article going around the internet. So it's fucking awesome.
And it's so funny to think about the 1 million people that tuned in that aren't Stoolies, that are fans of the Bobcats or Wyoming. Like, what were they thinking?
I'm just picturing people in Wyoming, tumbleweeds dusting around outside, and then Dave talking about Dave kind of shit, right? And, and then they're seeing Jersey Jerry's pants going around his legs. And they're like, what's wrong with these damn Barstool hooligans?
I saw Jerry also like murdered someone for writing that he was overweight. He like found a picture of the woman's husband and tweeted it and was like, how about we talk about overweight with this guy? Ethered him.
Don't want to mess with the Jersey Jerry Army. It's a new year, new us, but armies were the hottest things in the streets before the ball dropped.
We got a couple movies to talk about that you saw, that I saw. Before we get into those movies, I just want to say best wishes to Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye. He was obviously in that horrible snowmobile accident. I don't know if everyone listening saw it. He is doing better. He posted a picture. He looks messed up, but he was like also helping someone while he got hit by it. He was helping a motorist. So shout out Hawkeye.
Fucking Hawkeye, man. Unbelievable. I saw that story floating across the timeline and I just never clicked on it for some reason. And then you're just reading. I'm like, oh, he got run over. I'm like, oh man, I hope he's all right. And then you see he gets run over by this fucking like gigantic construction piece of equipment, basically. Yeah. And it's already been memed. I lived. You see those things going around and all that stuff. So shout out to him. I mean,
there are some good memes. I mean, we'll get to Glass Onion. A slight spoiler for Glass Onion. He's got to come out with hot sauce to pay for the medical bills because everyone in the world will buy that hot sauce right now to support him.
1,000%. The hot sauce and the kombucha drink of
I know, Jared Leto. He needs to come out with hard kombucha. Let's get into it. Glass Onion. We both saw Glass Onion. I saw it a month ago when it was in theaters, but rewatched it when it hit Netflix. And my God, it was fun to rewatch because there are those little details that you pick up on the second watch. What were your overall thoughts? My initial thoughts, which I said on the podcast, were very good movie, very enjoyable, right behind the Batman for me on the year, but not quite that Knives Out level.
So I'm a big Knives Out fan, and we talked about it, I think, on the previous podcast. So I was really excited for this movie. I was trying really hard to see it in the theaters. Again, just did not work. I only watch my movies in bunches, apparently. It just all works out. Watched it at home with the wife, and I loved it. I was gonna say liked it. No, fuck it. I loved it because I've seen a lot of people say it's not as good as the first one. I think that is true. I think Ana de Armas's character does bring a little more. There's so many bad people in these movies that you have to have that one good person. I won't spoil it, so no spoilers. I'm not going to say what happens, but I didn't have this. It wasn't as much the same moral compass maybe in this movie, even though I do think there were people. Obviously, Benoit's fucking awesome as usual, and all the actors.
So much fun,
dude. Fucking Dave Bautista, and he's basically like Drax in this movie, which made me like. There's times you close your eyes and you would tell me that's a Guardians movie. I believe you because he sounds just like it. It has like the whole inflection of his voice. I was a huge fan of it.
Kate
again,
Hudson might have been my favorite, to be honest with you. She had so many lines about the sweatpants and about Beyonce and just many lines in the movie where I was crying laughing.
I got to see it again too, because it is one of those things that I think multiple rewatches you'll pick up on a lot of different stuff. I've only
Totally.
seen it the one time. Again, the kids don't make it possible to get this done as much, but now the football season is almost over. Maybe I'll just do it during the day. But there's so many little things. Couldn't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen the first one, watch the first one again. And this is coming from someone who, Ryan Johnson, I feel like he personally offended me with The Last Jedi. But I also loved his episode of Breaking Bad, and I've loved all the Knives Out movies. I like some of his other stuff. So a big time recommend from both the Basement Boys down here, I think, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Benoit Blanc, like you said, is just so much fun. I tweeted that it's my favorite Daniel Craig character, including James Bond,
Wow.
because every single time he's on screen, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, and he's like instantly iconic in a way where people are saying they want to see Benoit Blanc go down and solve a Muppet mystery in the next one and stuff like that, where I love that. And he's one of the few original characters, I feel like, from the last 10 years where everyone knows his name, you don't even really know his backstory. You don't have to. They give him a little bit in this one where like you see he's with Hugh Grant and it's like, oh, what's going on there? He's in a bathtub and stuff, like fun little details where it gives you a little bit without giving you a lot. You don't need to know a lot. Like the mystery of Benoit Blanc is as good as the mystery of Knives Out.
Yes, he's just the world's greatest detective. That's all you need to know about him. And his accent makes no damn sense, which is part of the charm of it all, right?
His outfits, when he goes into the pool wearing like the shirt and the bathing suit and the ascot in this one, fantastic. It's a really fun watch. A movie that you saw that I did not see, I would love to hear your thoughts on. Avatar 2, old Jimmy Cameron's masterpiece that we've been hearing about for years. I actually did want to see this during break. It was a goal. As I've said before, James Cameron really pisses me off, but Avatar, I think, is a fine movie, and I rewatched it over break because I know I'm going to see Avatar 2 soon, so I wanted to refresh my memory. I think I'm going to love Avatar 2. I don't really necessarily have anything against the franchise. It's more James Cameron being a dick. I wanted to see it. The local theater only had Puss in Boots 2, so we saw that instead. What did you think of Avatar 2?
So I saw Avatar 2 with our guy Large. We went to the 9:30 a.m. showing in New Rochelle. So I had to see it. I think you have to watch Avatar in the best theater possible locally to you. And if you can see it in IMAX, 3D. This is one of the like few IMAX that are not Limax, which is a legitimate IMAX. Big screen, feel like you're at the fucking aquarium because you're hiking up rows of stairs just to get a good seat in the middle of it. That's where I saw Dark Knight in, I think, the city in Lincoln Square, and I'll never forget like that experience, right? So we somehow brought Dark Knight into another one of our podcasts. Shout out to us for keeping the streak alive. I saw Avatar there as well, and Large snuck in sandwiches for the both of us. He snuck in. He goes, "Here's your sandwich." Like, "Oh, thanks, man." And then inside, he had a bag of Doritos that he popped so he could like flatten out the bag because you have to be able to sneak stuff in. And then he had a little Ferrero Rochers, those little hazelnut candies in there. Oh, great stuff. So
that's a rich chocolate, That's like, Large. He worked on Wall Street, so he could buy those.
Exactly. It's a large level of a decadence there. And we did a brand that I will not say right now. We did a little bit of that before we went in the theater just to get into Pandora, The Right State of Mind. And I'll tell you, man, as soon as that projector went on, we got through all the previews, which some of the movies we'll be discussing here. You're fucking right back in the middle of Pandora again because you're just zoomed right in. Everything's just fascinating. Now I'm going to choose my words carefully here because I guarantee there are some diehard Avatar listeners in the basement. I liked Avatar. I enjoyed my 3 hours. Did not piss once. Large, I think, peed 3 times during it. By the way,
3 times.
3 times. I believe it was 3 times. And luckily, the rows are big enough where neither of us had to get up. There was probably about 20 people in the whole theater, in a giant theater at that.
That surprises me though. For 9:30 a.m., I was going to say, were you the only 2 there?
We had a little bit of a crew with us, and I had coffee in the morning, a couple waters on the way down, and I still didn't have to pee. I don't know if it's because I was locked in. But I enjoyed Avatar. It was a fine movie. I feel exactly the way I did, though, after Avatar 1. That's the way I felt after Avatar 2, where it's like, I could never see this movie again. I'd be fine with it. The characters I liked, they were fine. There were some typical movie tropes that I thought were a little silly. That happened in all the movies, including the ones that we love. it also felt like it was the greatest 3-hour video game cutscene I've ever seen in my life. Like, that's just how it was. It wasn't deep. It didn't really like.
Didn't
I'm not
blow you away. Didn't blow your pants off.
exactly. And this is my thoughts with Avatar. The franchise that's coming up. I'm hoping they're awesome. I'm seeing that we're already getting, what is it, Avatar 4? James Cameron didn't get notes for. Is that what he said?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're getting the
just
heart.
the only no, they got one note. It was holy fuck.
Yeah. James, you're making it so hard for me not to just like that is such a hard line. And no matter who says, if James Gunn said that, I'd be like, come on, James.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably be like, oh man, this
but
is
like
gonna be
he
awesome.
wouldn't imagine him saying that about Guardians 3. Like he would never say that.
They would never say that. And
It's
I
just
don't
such
know.
a douchey thing.
James, who are you trying to impress? We all fucking know you make awesome shit. You've been making
Bro, you made
awesome
Terminator 2. Like,
yeah.
We get it, we get it. Judgment Day.
So my thoughts on Avatar, and I thought Avatar 5, I think they're going back to Earth at some point. So I'm like, oh, there is actually a plan. This shit might actually come out. However, it was 13 years between the first one and the second one. Is that right?
Sounds right. 2009, I think it was.
Yeah. So 22. Yeah. So you give me 13 years between it and all the technological advances that have been made, and like honestly forgetting about the first one, I'll go see the second one. The third one comes out, I believe, in 24, right? So that's
because they filmed almost all of it. They filmed 2 and 3 together.
Yes. So I'll go to 3, even though I didn't like love 2. I liked it. I'll go to 3. After 3, though, you got to start like making me want to come back. You have to make me care about the story, the characters.
3 sounds interesting. I haven't seen 2, obviously, but I saw a quote from James Cameron where he says the first 2 Avatar movies show like the Navi's great and the people are bad. And he's like, the third one, we're going to show you the flip, like some good people and some bad Navi. He said they're bringing in the Ash clan or something.
Yeah.
They're like the fire people. All right. That sounds cool. Like, I like that we're at least evolving things, because I heard a lot of feedback, like you just said, where people were like, Avatar 2 is great, visually stunning. Like, obviously, James Cameron, you can't say anything about his CGI and the way he pushes forward the technology. Story-wise, people said it was basically Avatar 1. Again, the people are back. And this time they're going after the water and the whales. It's like, okay. And I got to say, I really liked the first Avatar when it came out. I remember going around telling people this is the best movie ever. Like, I was 11 at the time. Rewatching it over break, I went, okay, it's a good movie. No doubt it's a good movie. But that's about it. Like, I felt like Jake Sully, as they call him.
Sully, yeah.
He kind of like adapted to the Na'vi so quick in the first movie that I never got the sense that like he would betray humans for them. It was very quickly. He went down. He kind of thought Zoe Saldana was hot. They touched tails, and he was like, fuck humans for life. So I thought it was good. The CGI is very interesting to like look back at, because a lot of it holds up really well. And then some of it, like there's like the dogs that attack him in the beginning, they look straight out of a video game. And you're like, oh, wow, this like blew our minds only 10 years ago. What's it going to look like in 10 years? Are we going to look at Avatar 2 that way? In 10 years, we're going to be like, this blew our minds. That is fascinating to me.
Yeah. And that's kind of the way I feel about the whole series, is I do feel like it was such an upgrade. And I texted KFC. He's like, how was it? I was like, basically take Avatar 1, upgrade everything to 4K, and then throw it in the pool. That's basically how I do. And listen, like all the good stuff we loved about Avatar 1 are there in Avatar 2. It's more of an event than it is like a great movie. And if it now to become a great series, I think these things you're telling me about, where you're getting a little more depth to the story and all the characters there, that starts with 3. People can tell you they saw some stuff in 2 with some of the other creatures. I didn't give a fuck about it. I just didn't. Maybe other people did. Good for you. It's kind of like all the other stuff we talk about on the show. Some stuff we like, some stuff other people like. But it was like, it's truly mind-blowing shit. Just like when you just take a step back, you're like, this stuff seems so fucking real, and it's just not real. It is one of those things where you kind of have to like pinch yourself. Be like, I can't believe someone made this. But like in terms of, I'm trying to think of the fast food review I would give for it. I actually got a pretty good one. It's like stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut, where when I had it as a kid, and I was like, holy shit, this is the greatest thing ever. They took pizza and they put cheese in it. And then I had it probably, like years later. And now I've had it as an adult with like, who isn't just in awe of this. They just shoved a bunch of mozzarella crust. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. still Pizza Hut pizza, but it's like it's still
You're like, it's cool going in, coming out.
Exactly. So, and I know Large was pretty much on the same page as me. If James wants me to keep going, it says a fool me once, fool me twice, all that kind of shit right there. I'll see 3. But after 3, like, you're gonna have to hook me in and make me care about these characters more, because unless the technology just goes up leaps and bounds in a year, and then whatever it is to Avatar 4 with holy shit as their one note, and then 5 where they go back to Earth and I get to see how much we've destroyed our planet. You have to earn me back here. Like, at some point, $25 fucking theater tickets, I'm gonna have to see a little bit of return on my investment, right? And that's the other
6
thing.
is when like they got to mash up with the Nintendo world or something. They meet Mario and all that. Like they got to do something in 6.
And
Fast and Furious, maybe.
I bought Nintendo stock over the break, Bob. I only bought like 5 shares,
really?
But I bought Nintendo. Nintendo stock, by the way, did I tell you?
It was $10, right?
It was $10. I was like, I thought it was gonna be like $50. I have no idea what the fuck these things trade for. So
I think you texted me, guess what it is, and I said like 300 or something.
Yeah. Barstool Finance with our guy Large. That's where you get your finance information. Don't get it in the basement. But I am saying Nintendo is my buy for 2023. It's so early in the year we could say that, and we seem like we know what we're talking about. They're building a whole fucking cinematic universe out there, and they just got the fucking Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I saw that. I thought it was in Florida. I was like, man, I'm going to Disney, and I can't even go to Nintendo Land, but it's only in Cali, so only the people out in Cali can check that out.
So I wanted to see Avatar 2. I didn't get the chance. I will see it. As I mentioned, though, the local movie theater is playing Puss in Boots 2, and we like the local movie theater enough where we were like, it's a mom and pop theater. Let's just go and have a day out at the movies. Let's go see Puss in Boots 2. I never saw the first Puss in Boots. I liked the Shrek movies, but that was about as far as I went with Puss in Boots and the character and everything. I left going, holy shit, that was a really, really enjoyable movie. The animation was kind of that Spider-Verse 2D, 3D style where you see the brush strokes on the screen and everything. The action was great. The villain was legitimately terrifying for a DreamWorks Pixar animated style movie. And I left texting you being like, I think it's worth taking your kids to see. It was very, very funny.
And Puss in Boots was, I believe, the first movie I saw on the break. Thanks to Uncle Bob's recommendation, we all went out there and everyone had a good time. AJ said he was scared of the villain of it. That was the one he goes, I don't know about that movie.
If you haven't seen it, the villain's basically like the big bad wolf. But the way they shoot him every time he's on screen, he like gives Puss in Boots chills. And then they shoot him in these shadows where he just has red eyes. And even as a 24-year-old boy, I was going to say man, but most people would argue, I was terrified in the theater. I was looking over at my girlfriend like, oh my God, there's kids in this theater.
I can see Bob has like his hair is standing up at the end of his arm. He's like holding her hand extra tight during that. We liked it. And then just by coincidence, a couple of weeks earlier, AJ had been searching YouTube and there was a free Puss in Boots on YouTube. I think it was like the previous movie. It's with Humpty Dumpty. And it was fucking fun to watch too. So I love all the.
You know, he had his own show, by the way, that lasted for like 6 seasons.
I had no fucking. You could have told me there was like 100 movies. I believe you as well. I feel like those things are just like, depending on how old your kids are, your kids were probably obsessed with them if they were growing up during the Puss in Boots era. Because it's like, all right, we're not going to do Shrek anymore, but they could just take all these fucking fairy tale characters, which I love. I love.
Definitely.
I don't. Is it spoilers if we tell them the characters that are in it?
No.
So it's like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears are in it, and they're like a mob organization.
Florence Pugh plays Goldilocks as well. It's got a great cast. John Mulaney's in it.
Yep.
Who is his character? It's the guy who puts his thumb in the
Little Boy
pie.
Blue or something like that. Yeah,
something like that. He was a great character in it.
Tom Thumb.
Honestly, like
I know it's not Tom Thumb.
It might have been. I don't know. But if you're looking to take your kids to see a movie,
Little Jack Horner.
Yes. That is worthy of it. I thought it was the best animated movie of the year, better than Lightyear, Turning Red. And those were fine movies as well, but this one just stuck out above the rest as one that was funny. They make jokes where they almost say like shit. They almost say like shit for brains at one point. And I actually saw this happen right in front of me in the theater. A dad go, huh? And the kid look up at him and go, why did you laugh? And he was like, nothing.
I love those the DreamWorks things. The Shrek stuff has been good, and then anything that's like the Disney, it's like a diet Disney, but like they can get away with a little more dirtier stuff, a little edgier. So That's another cinematic universe I
there's
love.
like the Jiminy Cricket type thing where they can't name
Yeah.
them because that's a Disney thing, but that was good. So go see Puss in Boots too if you're looking to see something. And then another animated thing I just thought I'd mention today as we record this, January 4th, The Bad Batch dropped its first 2 episodes of season 2. I just watched them before we recorded it. I thought they were enjoyable. The Bad Batch is a show for me that doesn't captivate me, doesn't have me like so emotionally invested. It's more of a background show, but it's a show that I really enjoy having on in the background. And they aged Omega up, as we said. It was a really good move. And the first 2 episodes deal with like the fallout of Count Dooku's death. So anytime you deal with a big universe galaxy event like that, but in a small corner of the galaxy where it's like, how did the Bad Batch factor into that? I thought it was enjoyable. The first 2 episodes, good, not like, oh my God, rush to Disney Plus and watch this right now. But I think if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll like it.
Yeah, I checked it out. I got like halfway through the first episode before we went live, and it's, yeah, you said it's perfect background. If you want to get into it, I'm sure you get into it hardcore. I do think it's something the kids can enjoy too. It's not like too crazy. It's obviously a cartoon, so it's not graphic or anything like that. And I don't know. I like Omega. I like all the guys in there. They all have their like unique personalities. We did all the reviews with Ken Jack, which is crazy. We were doing reviews for that every single week. We were just grinding out those. I was looking at the first episode of the series. It was like 75 minutes. I'm like, I watched 75 minutes of a cartoon. I had no idea what was going on because I haven't watched any of the Star Wars cartoons. So yeah, I guess Basement Boys seal of approval on that so far. And I always say I like that stuff where seeing you build characters and then you have stuff that happens in the universe and see their reactions to it. So even though I hate Count Dooku, I am growing to love him based on all the work they're doing around him, posthumous, post prequels, all that kind of stuff.
Now, we were going to preview 2023 from Star Wars, DC, Marvel. We're going to talk about all the shows briefly, the ones we're excited for and stuff. And then at the end of this podcast, we're going to build out our DC Universe Phase 1. Like if we were James Gunn, how are we handling this? Each put 6 projects down. Before we get into that, though, I want to list 3 show goals on the first episode of My Mom's Basement in 2023, and I want to hit these goals. The first of which we've talked about before, 50,000 subscribers. That's our next subscriber goal. I feel like that's a big number. I feel like if a podcast at Barstool hits 50,000, it's kind of legitimate on YouTube, to be completely honest, because not everyone can hit that. So I think if we hit 50,000, that would be a big mark for My Mom's Basement this year. We had a huge year last year. Numbers went up like crazy. We went up 7,000, 8,000% in views or something. We got to solidify that this year, I think, to stick around.
Number 2, we don't have Thrones this year too. Thrones helped out.
Yeah, no Thrones.
We don't have Thrones.
Less shows in general, I think.
Yeah.
Looking at the slate, I think it's more movies, less shows. The second goal is, I guess, more of a personal goal, but you as well. I want to do more music content. I want to get better at bass. I want to make videos, writing songs with my favorite bands and stuff like that. But I mean, you and me interviewed one half of Hall & Oates last year.
Incredible.
So you can also join. If they're these musicians that you're into, maybe I'll play a gig with your dad or something. He'll be playing the drums. I'll be playing a bass, something like that.
The Papa Clem episode of My Mom's Basement, and it could be in My Mom's Basement. That's where his drum set is in the basement. I think where a lot of musical instruments are in all the houses across the world. So that would be incredible. Also, AJ, excuse me, has randomly gotten big into The Wizard of Oz. And he's been just singing all their songs nonstop. I guess they're watching it in school, and they're doing a play we just found out. And he is a Munchkin, so he is going to be a Munchkin in the play. It's going to be awesome. And I don't know if I have a video of it I could share, but he does the "We Are the Lollipop Kids," and it just cracks us up nonstop. So we'll get some sort of musical stuff, and the stuff you make on YouTube and TikTok, all the musical content you make there crushes as well. So that probably helps with the goals of subscribers.
Weirdly, it's like the most popular stuff on our TikTok is the rock and roll music content. So if you're into that stuff, go over, follow us on TikTok. I'll throw up reels and TikToks and stuff about that all the time. And then the final show goal. This is a big one. This is a lofty one, but I think we can do it. The first ever My Mom's Basement live show. I don't know how we'll do it. I don't know where we'll do it. I don't know when we'll do it. I would love for before the year is over for us to do a live show with all the basement boys and girls in the audience. We can watch funny videos, do more than just a podcast. We could put stuff up on the screen. That's my vision of it. Maybe even like we've talked about after a movie, maybe we could all go see a movie together and then do a podcast about it in the theater or something like that. In some way, shape, or form, though, I think we can make this happen.
Bob, you dropped this one on me without discussing it first, and you kind of blew my mind. So I saw that. I was like, oh, well, that is most certainly a goal. Now, we did talk about this in the past, and I feel like the world changed a lot since that time. But, I mean, fuck it. We've already talked about it, so I guess we'll try to figure out how and when we can make it work, where, who, what, when, why, where, how. All those things kind of mix in there. But, I mean, we've had people who sound like they're interested. So if they're interested, if Barstool can host a goddamn bowl game, right? I think we can figure out a way to get.
We don't want to do an arena. We're not trying to sell out MSG here. We're trying to do a tiny little live show with just the diehard fans of the podcast that have been with us since the beginning.
If only there was like a guy who's done a couple things at Barstool, has his own theater, big time nerd himself. If only there was a guy like that we could maybe talk about. A fellow Jersey guy, because I know.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it was in Jersey. Yeah, if it was local. Yeah, if it was one of my favorite movie makers too. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. That would be amazing. Kevin Smith, please call us. All right, before we get into the 2023 preview, let's throw it over to HelloFresh. You've got some New Year's goals, and HelloFresh is here to help you achieve them. Skip the grocery store and take control of your time and budget with delicious recipes delivered right to your door. Fast and fresh recipes. HelloFresh's latest line of meals featuring robust flavors and filling proportions are ready in less than 15 minutes. It's amazing. Enjoy taste and quality done quick with recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak and potatoes. Oh, seared steak and potatoes. That right up my alley.
That got me too.
I love that one. Yeah. Oh, it's got the Béarnaise sauce, Béarnaise, however you say that. I like all of that. So I'm down with that. And the Southwest pork and bean burritos as well. Those ones, listen, they had the yak challenge yesterday trying to fart. If you're trying to fart, maybe the pork and beans, but I'm sure they taste great going down. With HelloFresh, eating well in the new year can be stress-free and delicious. Over 35 weekly recipes and the options to change your proteins, add a protein to a veggie dish, customize your select meals. All of that is very easy with HelloFresh. Skip the snowy schlep to the grocery store. Oh, I like that word.
I like
the
that
schlep to the grocery store and stock up on snacks, sides, desserts, and more at HelloFresh Market. Simply add these staples and sweets to your weekly order, and they'll arrive to your doorstep along with your meals. We love this stuff. We love the cheesy chicken. That seared steak and potatoes sounds amazing. If you go to HelloFresh.com/Robbie21, ROBBIE 21, and use that same promo code Robbie21, you can get 21 free meals plus free shipping. That is 21 free meals plus free shipping with the code Robbie21 at HelloFresh.com/Robbie21. That's the blackjack deal. That's what we'll call it. 21 free meals.
The blackjack meal.
All right, let's get into 2023 from a nerd's perspective and kind of preview it out. We did this last year as well in 2022. So if you want to go back, I'm sure that's kind of a fun listen in retrospect. The shows that we were excited for, the movies that we were excited for, us being like, we can't wait to see Batgirl, like stuff like that. Funny to listen to in retrospect.
Book of Boba Fett's going to rule. Everything about it's going to be great.
Those Gamorrean guards are the badasses. The first thing I have listed, we kind of talked about already, The Bad Batch Season 2. It's going to continue, I believe, every Wednesday from here on out, and that'll kind of lead us up to The Mandalorian, so that's cool. But before we get to that point, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the first big nerdy movie of the year, February 17th. And this one is advertised as the Kang movie. It's Kang. It's got to be Kang. I'm very excited for it. I think the previews look great. The Goodbye Yellow Brick Road they use, as we've talked about in the trailer, is so epic and just sounds huge. And as Marvel's next tentpole movie, in a way, this one has to deliver. It's got high hopes, and they got to hit that high bar.
So, yeah, I'm with you on that. We got He Who Remains, right? That's what they considered him at the end of Loki. That was our first introduction to Jonathan Majors. But if they come out flat with Kang on this one, it's going to be disappointing, because I feel like, when they would introduce Thanos in the different Marvel movies, I think people are like, all right, like they did a pretty good job, but he didn't do too much. And then until he fucking wiped half the goddamn universe away. I feel like Kang has like shoes to fill now because of that, right? Because of Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
So, and in fact, he is like the big bad in this movie, it appears. But it has to fucking work. Trust to Feige. It has to be fucking good. And like you said, it should just be called Ant-Man and the Wasp. Kang. Kang is here. Kang's arrival. First Kang movie. Whatever you want to call Kang Mania. Kang Mania. That's what we call
Kang Mania. Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Now I watched the preview to this in Avatar. It came up in 3D on the IMAX. And I'll tell you, I think I may have to watch this in 3D because it looks so much more incredible in that than it did, you know, obviously watching on your TV or your phone, whatever, maybe your computer. And I was just like, holy shit, like the Quantumania might look like mind-blowingly awesome in 3D in an IMAX or not in IMAX. But I do think this may be, I'll have to do some research, but it feels like this might be one of those movies like visually might be fucking, because when they go to the Quantumania, there's some crazy shit going on there.
I think you're right about that. Now, I was going to say, to establish Kang as the next Thanos, which is what everyone's calling him, right? He's the next big bad of the universe. I feel like this movie has to kind of end on a down note. Like Kang has to win in a way, and he has to continue being a problem for the universe. How much of a down note do you end it on? Do you kill Hank Pym? Do you kill Michelle Pfeiffer? Hope? Do you kill, like, who do you kill in this movie? Someone dies. It's not going to be Ant-Man, I don't think. I think Scott can make it through the movie, but I think someone he loves is going to die.
Don't think you can kill a kid either, though. Even if she's like a grown-up kid, that would be pretty.
They aged her up, Clem.
I know they did age her up, and like that kind of removes a lot of the plot armor, right? Once you, what do you think? I think, isn't it crazy? It's like once you're like 18 years old, it's like then you could kill them in a movie. It's really fucked up.
I mean, even Hawkeye's kids, though, they faded away.
That's true.
Feige's fucked up. Feige's low-key a sick brain.
That sick fuck killed the dog, Sparky. I put him on the suspect. Like, he's going to be a villain. No, he's dead. He fucking murdered.
You're just trying to put the blame on Feige.
I am. Yes, I am.
You're trying to take that off yourself.
I feel very bad to this day. I feel extremely awful about it. I feel like, I hope this isn't ageism. I feel like you can just kill the olds, though. It's like, it was their time to go. And it's like, if God forbid we lose them in real life, then they're already out of the universe. You don't have to worry about killing them off screen.
In character, from the perspective of their characters, if they're going to go, I think they should go together almost, because they were separated for so long, right? And it's like they didn't have each other. I could see them having a death almost Toy Story 3-esque where they hold each other's hands, look at each other.
I was
something like that, right?
They're gonna have. I'm calling it now. They're gonna have gloves. I see gloves on their hands as they go for it. Yeah. And then our boy Kang just kangs them. I don't know how Kang kills him. He's gonna kang them though.
He's gonna kang those motherfuckers.
I can't wait for Kang. I thought about this the other day. I just started laughing on my own. I really do hope we see him kill Ant-Man 1,000 different ways, like Kenny from South Park. I just think it works. And Paul Rudd is the one actor, whereas you see him, you love Ant-Man, you love the character, but just seeing him die like 1,000 different ways, and he's in the quantum realm, and it does kind of make sense. I kind of would love that. So I'm with you. The holding hands thing, the Basement Boys are calling their first shot of the year, 2023. Pfeiffer, fucking Douglas, holding hands, killed by Kang. It was Kang in the quantum realm with whatever the fuck Kang uses to kill people.
Like it was Clue. Yeah. February 17th, 2023, that movie comes out. So that's going to sneak up on us. It's going to be here before we know it. And speaking of being here before we know it, The Mandalorian Season 3, March 1st, 2023. We've seen from the trailer, and we've talked about the trailer a lot. This is going to be the battle for Mandalore. Bo-Katan going to work her way into more of an antagonist role. I don't want to say villain yet, because we don't necessarily know what her motivations and stuff are, although she was a part of that fucking terrorist clan that she's now put just don't even get me started on Bo-Katan. Okay. Christopher Lloyd joining Season 3. Speaking of Back to the Future, you mentioned the DeLorean before, and Babu Frick joining Season 3. You know, I can't wait to see my boy Babu.
I hope Babu Frick is like, that's the movies I was in were really bad. I hope he fucking admits it. Admit it, Babu.
But Jon Favreau and Filoni just grabbed him by the shoulder and they said, "Come here, Babu. We're gonna treat you right, show you a better movie."
I'm pretty sure I said during our review of that movie that I was like, Babu, they kind of did him dirty. I thought we were gonna get more of him, and I thought he was going to be like a breakaway star. He wasn't even on screen enough, which is not something Star Wars. They'll usually bash you over the head with a guy that they want to sell the toys of and the dolls of in Disney World. And there was not nearly enough of that. So this might be Babu might be the breakout character. Do you think maybe that's my prediction for Mandalorian? Babu's the breakout character.
I love that. I love that prediction.
I also loved hearing you talk about Bo-Katan. Like, you are going to be tested. Like,
I get flustered when I talk about her. She rattles me. That like, one line in the trailer has shaken me to my core.
Yeah, she's ground you up and spit you out, and you have to do some mental gymnastics when these people become villains. I mean, I did it with Thanos. I was fucking Mr. Thanos, and then a legitimate pandemic hit where it looked like half the world was going to go wiped out. Like, all right, maybe he wasn't all the way right. He was just kind of right. And
yeah, Clem started taking the Mr. Clean magic eraser to all of his Thanos was right graffitis.
We have a couple people too. Shout out to everyone who clips the show. We may have to go back to some old clips about you waxing poetic about how great Bo-Katan is, and it's like,
yeah,
you could get canceled off something you said like 5 years ago.
She's gonna get canceled after this season. I'm gonna cancel her. I'm gonna write Bo-Katan hit pieces. I'm gonna dig up her old dirt and stuff. The next project we have March 17th, 2023, Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. I don't give a fuck about this at all. I didn't like the first Shazam movie. I know most people did. That's actually, I think, more of a controversial take from me. There was just something about it that never, ever clicked with me. And it's one of my least favorite DC movies. The rest of the DC movies, I do feel bad for them because they're in that spot where we all know this is leading nowhere with Shazam, with Blue Beetle, with Aquaman. There's a couple others. It's tough. I'm sure the movies can be good in their own right. I'm not saying, to be good, the movies have to build on some kind of universe. We just know it's a dead end with every one of these movies.
Yep, they're just playing out the string here, right? And calling it a day. So it's a tough thing. I've never been a Shazam guy at all. Basically, my thing with all the DC movies, it's like if I hear it's awesome through social media or reviews or anything like that, I would check it out. This one I never heard. And if Bob doesn't like it, I'm definitely not going to see it. So
yeah, I don't think you would like it, to be honest.
So I think I feel like this is just going to be a pass. Pass from the Mason Boys, unless we hear differently.
Yeah, if we hear it's great, I'll give it a shot. Otherwise, this is going to be a pass. The next one is the opposite of a pass. This is, I would say, probably for Clem, his most anticipated. I don't want to speak for him, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, May 5th, 2023. Speaking of great trailers, speaking of great music, the Space Hog in that trailer, we are waxing poetic about every time we talk about it. But James Gunn, he's one of these guys, trust the Feige, trust the gun. All right. This guy, he knows what he's doing, especially with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I have the utmost faith in this being a heartbreaking but amazing conclusion to their story.
Yeah, this is going to be the Alonzo Mourning gift. You shake your head, you nod at the end of it. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt so good. It's going to hurt so bad. It's going to make you laugh, cry, everything in between. I watched Guardians 2 the other day. I just threw it on, and I'm telling you, I still don't understand how the fuck you guys think Guardians 1 is anywhere close to as good as Guardians 2. Guardians 2, the Mary Poppins scene, like just the Mary Poppins line, it's like the 100th best line of the movie, and it's better than anything in Guardians 1. Oh, this Yondu stuff.
So I disagree with that. I like Guardians 1 better, but I think Guardians 2 has a much better like final battle. Like the dance scene is funny, but on the 100th watch, which I have watched Guardians of the Galaxy at least 99 times, the dance scene is like, oh, that's how they defeat like the badass Ronin and all that. Like, all right. The second one with the chain, him powering up, the eyes lighting up, everything connecting like that, that makes me want to run through that brick wall behind me.
Bob does have a brick wall behind him. So if he ever says he's willing to run through a brick wall, we're going to have him try to do it. Maybe that's, hey, we hit 50,000 subscribers. Robbie will try to run through a brick wall. Legitimately try, Juggernaut style. But you guys have to fucking get us to 50,000 subscribers.
The brick wall was one of the main reasons I wanted this apartment. I was like, that's fucking cool. I want that in the background of my podcast.
Brick, man. That's a beautiful thing.
That's what I'm paying for here.
Guardians is number 1 with a bullet on mine. I mean, I'm sure we'll do like our top 3 at the end of it or something like that. But this is definitely number 1 on my list.
On my list, it would be number 2, just behind The Mandalorian, to be honest. That would be number 1. I'm a Star Wars guy at heart.
Yeah,
but this would be number 2. And honestly, my number 3 would be next. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, June 2nd, 2023. I am unbelievably excited for this movie. As someone that went into the first as a skeptic, as I've mentioned, I couldn't believe that an animated Spider-Man movie was getting a theatrical release. It's now one of my most rewatched superhero movies. It's one of the most rewatchable superhero movies in that it's the perfect background movie. Throw it on. It's got beautiful animation, great music, great montages here and there where you look up and you get captivated by the "What's Up Danger" scene or something like that. A great villain, Prowler, and the sound effect that would come with him every time he's on screen. This one adds Spider-Punk. This one adds like 240 different Spider-Men, like they said, or whatever. The largest crew ever assembled for an animated movie. It's a high bar to live up to, just like we said before with the first movie. But I do have the faith in Lord and Miller on this one as well.
Yeah, I get, like you said, I'm interested to see how they're going to tie in. Just seems like so many characters and so many different corners of the Spider-Man universe. But the first one did it awesome. I loved all the jokes and the stuff where they did the nod to the dancing and the emo stuff and the ice pop, all those little things. That's what I'm like, all right, this is in good hands. This is someone that cares about the franchise. So I am a little nervous about it, especially because my kids love it so much. But I think this is probably like number 4 for me. I'm just going through this list and I'm like, all right, February Ant-Man, March into like April Mandalorian, May Guardians of the Galaxy, June Spider-Man. Basement's gonna be jam-packed for the first half of 2023. We are this. I don't have the numbers in front of me or like the list of stuff, but I feel like 2023 there's a little bit of a logjam where COVID fucked so much shit up for like a year and a half that I feel like 2023 is just getting the gold of all of it. It's kind of the diamonds, all that everything got compacted together, and now we're just getting a flood of fucking awesome shit here in the, both nerd and non-nerd realm. Is that what people are saying about 2023? Do you know?
I don't know if it's necessarily COVID related. I would imagine it probably is with how everything got delayed. Like DC did all of their delays in 2022 and they pushed everything to 2023. So I think there's got to be something like that this year.
Yeah, I feel like we did get some stuff the last few years, but I do think that this is where we're starting to get like Guardians should have been out already, right? So I think that's an example of it right there.
The Flash, June 16th, 2023.
As of now, unless he becomes a terrorist again.
Yes, as of now, this movie's still coming out in June with Ezra Miller in the lead role. I saw some pictures leak from it this week where it looks like in at least one scene, he's going to have to remake the Michael Keaton Batman suit into a Flash suit. Did you see this?
I saw something about that. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on with it.
It looks like he takes the Keaton bat suit, he cuts the ears off crudely, like really crudely cuts the ears off, spray paints it red, and then spray paints a Flash logo onto the middle. It looks so bad. Now, there's one picture of it, and I completely acknowledge that. Sometimes in the movie, it looks better with lighting or whatever. Like sometimes the one picture, it's just this picture of him with a goofy smile on his face that says, like, I'm a terrorist and I'm getting away with it.
Yep.
And it turns me off about this movie. Not just that, just the whole Ezra thing. I hear this movie's good. I would love to see Michael Keaton back in the Bruce Wayne Batman role, so I'll go for that. That's honestly like the main draw of this movie is Michael Keaton back as Batman. Otherwise, it's another one that it feels like a dead end. We're setting up a Supergirl that we're never going to see again. The multiverse stuff with Ezra. Am I going to feel any kind of connection to the Flash in this movie, knowing that he's a fucking international terrorist, Ezra Miller?
This feels very much, all the DC stuff feels very much like when you're watching your favorite football team and they're out of the playoffs. I can't relate. The New York Giants have clinched the playoffs. I got my playoff goatee going right now, but it does feel like they're just running out the string. And it's like, there's nothing here we're doing like that we're going to build on. Hopefully a couple guys show some promise and then James is going to be like, all right, you're in for next season. But it does feel like we're kind of playing out the string right now with this.
The next one, July 28th, 2023, The Marvels. This is one where I'm going in, I'm open to it. I'm not, oh my God, I can't wait for the Marvels. But I liked Captain Marvel, despite most people not liking it, I feel, or at least a lot of people feeling it was a mid-movie. I like Captain Marvel. I like the 90s soundtrack. I like the 90s vibe about it. And I thought both Photon, the new character from WandaVision, and Miss Marvel were good characters. Now, the Miss Marvel show, like we said, kind of like started trailing off towards the middle, ended strong, started strong. I think the prospect of her character with Captain Marvel is a good idea. And we're gonna get some multiverse shit in this with the Bengal, maybe some Kang shit. Hopefully, this one I'm not stoked about, but I'll go see. And you know, I've got faith in Feige.
So we're gonna see it. We trust the Feige. That all is true. This most out of all these movies or shows or whatever we're talking about, pieces of content, most likely to be review bombed by a bunch of people on Rotten Tomatoes goes to The Marvels. Congratulations. Yeah. I'm gonna see it because we do it for the show. Miss Captain Marvel, I didn't love. It was all right. Again, had some 90s stuff in it, which obviously I loved. I thought the character could be pretty cool. It left me wanting more. Miss Marvel had its like moments where we thought, you know, comic booky, but also I was like, I think at some point we just stopped. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I had to like skip an episode or kind of just like search my way around it. Them together, I forgot about Photon, so having that probably have some weird scroll shit, you know. And at this point, God knows what's the MCU will look like, you know, with everything else that's going on. So there could be some other parts. Honestly, I wouldn't hate it if this was one of those. It kind of did like a She-Hulk where you do have a bunch of cameos in there, other superheroes or villains kind of just chiming in. Doesn't have to be A-list or even B-list guys, but just shit at fucking make it work. Make us like and look forward to every single movie we see. So I feel like the Midvilles, like you said, like I feel like the Midvilles will be what people call it and stuff like that. So I'm hoping for the best.
They'll credit that to you as well. Whenever they tweet at Brie Larson, they'll say Clem said,
Brie Larson starts putting out those workout videos again, though. She'll get a fair share to the movie because I remember Hubs was blocking. I was like, she does this on Instagram. Like this is just a thing that she does. So hoping for the best, not expecting the worst, hoping for the best, prepared for the worst though.
Blue Beetle, August 18th, 2023 from DC. I don't give a fuck. Another one where I'm like, this has the potential to be good. Respect to the cast and crew. No disrespect. Just don't care. We'll see when the reviews come out if it's good or not.
Blue Beetle, I honestly thought you threw this on there as like a fake movie to try to fuck with me. Because and listen, I don't know much about the DC universe.
I think the character's okay. No disrespect to the character either, because I think there are comics where people like Blue Beetle. I think he's a younger character. People kind of compare him to Spider-Man in certain ways, but just we'll wait and see on this one.
Imagine if like Jose's listening, he's like, these motherfuckers are out here ripping the Blue Beetle. Like that guy made me cry when I used to read these. Like,
by the way, I had to text Jose about the shirt I'm wearing, the Marvel shirt. If you're watching on YouTube,
sweet shirt, by the way.
There's a dog there. I had no idea who the dog was, so I had texted my guy Jose, my comic guy. Like we're on Pawn Stars, and like I got a guy for this, right? And I texted him. His name is Lockjaw, and he is the Black Bolt's dog. Kind of fucking awesome.
Yep, I know that thanks to one of the Marvel games I have. I don't even know which one, but I was playing it with the kids years ago, and I didn't know his name, but I knew he was part of the. What are those guys called? Like the new. Are they the new? Not the New Mutants, but they're like the name of their group, like Black Bolt and Miss Marvel. They have some sort of.
This is bad that we don't know. We're comic guys.
We're gonna learn. This is all part of like all these people are coming into exactly.
Yeah, we don't claim to be the comic experts. We have a comic expert. We have Jose for that.
We're gonna give Jose a heart attack. We just read Blue Beetle and we just said that new group. But I'm looking into Blue Beetle here. I mean, he's not. Like just looks wise, he's not really giving. Ooh, there's like a newer one that looks pretty fucking sweet. So maybe there's a chance he doesn't stink. But again, the movie, 2 hours or whatever a time in the theater, they're gonna have to prove to me. And listen, it's not just a DC thing because the next guy is in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, Kraven the Hunter. Okay, October 6th, 2023. Aaron Taylor Johnson playing Kraven. All sounds awesome, right? That sounds like a badass movie. Oh my God, one of the best Spider-Man villains. We've wanted to see him brought in forever, giving him his own movie, maybe making him an anti-hero. Great actor in the lead role. They're saying he might play James Bond. Hold on, though. It's made by Sony.
I was going to say, tell him what's in parentheses, Bob. It says Kraven the Hunter. Sony in parentheses, and I was like, "Oh, hit the brakes!" Fucking
from the studio that brought you Morbius.
It's Morbin time. It's Kraven time, baby.
So it's a wait and see. Another one. Like, do I believe it could be good? Of course, it's got some good talent behind it. Do I have faith it'll be good? No.
Now, little thing about our boy Kraven here that I like about him. One of the founding members of the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Maybe they could be like, oh, here was the sixth guy that we forgot to include in the fucking Spider-Man movie because we had 5 villains. You know how hard it is to get 5 villains all together, and they didn't put the 6th in. And don't make me wait I'm not waiting for another fucking Spider-Man movie. You get 6 more villains, you get the 5 back, and then another one. What are we doing here? So I'm gonna hope they loop that around and they just like put a Spider-Man scene in so we have all 6 together. I don't know how that's gonna work, but that's something I'm hoping for. So I didn't realize like that actor is that big of a deal. So
yeah, he was played Kick-Ass. He was originally Kick-Ass, and
gotcha.
he did a bunch of stuff in between. Was in Bullet Train recently. Really good actor. I'd like to see him as the next Bond, actually. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, December 25th, 2023. Merry Christmas. It's Aquaman. Another one where DC, like, it's just a dead end, and that's tough for them. I have more interest in this than the other DC movies, but as I looked through DC's lineup, I came to the tough realization that I would have more interest in seeing Batgirl than any of the movies they're putting out in 2023. So that is like an interesting thing. I like Jason Momoa. I do really like the first Aquaman movie. It's one of those where I will see this, no doubt, but do I think it's going to blow my socks off? Do I think it's going to make me take my pants off like AJ? No.
I was going to say, this is Christmas we're talking about, so pants will have to come down for it to be a really great movie. That is the new level of Christmas gifts level. Is it pants down? Aquaman, yeah, it's like, remember, what was I saying? It's like running out the season. It's like we're running out the season and we're telling this guy, oh, by the way, you're probably changing positions from Aquaman to Lobo.
Yeah.
So you're not even being the same fucking guy anymore. So even if, like, it would have to be basically as good as Vinny Chase's Aquaman for them to like pivot again and go back to Momoa. Is that definitely happening, or did you just say he wanted to do Lobo?
The way it's been hinted, I think it's definitely happening. It's not like officially confirmed, but it sounds like it's really, really happening. And then these shows and movies don't have actual dates on them for 2023, but they're all, as of this point, slated to come out in the next year. Ahsoka, The Acolyte, which is the live-action Sith show from Star Wars. Skeleton Crew, which is the Jude Law show. Loki Season 2. What If Season 2. Secret Invasion. Ironheart. And Echo. Echo kind of sounds like it's up in the air. It went from a TV show to a special to maybe it's not happening to maybe a TV show again. So that one I don't have like the utmost confidence in coming out, especially in 2023. If anything, I feel like it'll get pushed to 2024. Some of these things may. Out of all of those shows, Ahsoka, Loki Season 2, and Secret Invasion are the 3 I think that we should look out for as like the big shows. The Acolyte has Andor energy to me, though. We're like, don't sleep on that.
Yep, that's a fair point. And our boy Matty Fitz said Acolyte sounds legit, so it has me interested in that. I think those are clearly the big 3. What If is like the perfect just having fun show, right? I think it's going to be a lot of fun we can have, and I hope they take some chances and don't kind of just like rehash where they were last season. Like, get crazy with it. And
I agree. We don't need to see Captain Carter again. Like, there was rumors they're doing another Captain Carter episode and stuff like no. Just we want to see different stuff in every episode. I think that's the fun appeal of What If. Like, it was neat you did the Guardians of the Multiverse last season. I would have preferred a completely fucked up, final episode with Ghost Rider and characters that we haven't seen before.
Yep. And I'm wondering if they're going to like just only do stuff that has been announced or not. And actually, technically, X-Men 97, right?
Is that this year or 2024?
I think it's this year. I
hope it's this year.
Let's see. It says on IMDb as of now, it says 2023. Okay. So
put that right up towards the top of our lists of most anticipated for the
both of us. Fall 2023, according to Disney Plus. So it is. Yeah, that is. Fuck. Where does that stand for me now? I mean, the X-Men guy. Let's see. Ahsoka, Loki, and Secret Invasion. I'd say for me, Loki is 1. Secret Invasion 2, Ahsoka 3. Only because I don't know Ahsoka, even though I know she's very important to the Star Wars world. And I mean, like X-Men might be like 2. I think Loki is going to be a very big part of this whole entire phase. I was just thinking about it the other day. I'm like, man, Loki, they kill the like Kang's entire existence is because of Loki, which goes back to Endgame. And I'm just like,
I know, like,
whoa, there's a lot of shit that's tied up. It's been so long, right?
I saw a picture from Loki season 2 of Sylvie with like a new haircut. She's got bangs, just like sitting back in a record store. And it made me think, oh, is she time traveling and going back to 70s, 80s, 60s even, and skipping around vinyl shops and stuff? Like, did Michael Waldron write season 2 for me? Was it just for me?
Trying to get more musical content out of you, Bob. So you're just gonna have to break down what she's listening to every episode. I will say this.
I also did see Waldron like sent me a nice little thing because I put Doctor Strange in my top 10 movies of the year.
That a boy.
Nice. And that wasn't even like, I swear to God, I didn't think of him or whatever. I have a notes app thing of just my favorite movies. And I like put a new one in when I watch a new one of 2022. And that was just legitimately number 10.
It's the kind of thing friends do for each other. They pump up each other's movies, put those people in movies like the Avengers movie or Star Wars, whatever it may be. That's just what friends do for each other. He's a Braves fan. Who cares?
I wanted to write back like, dude, are you done writing the Star Wars movie? Have you finished the script? Like, if you haven't, stop DMing me and go back to that script and finish it.
Do you need some names?
Star Wars movie soon.
Give us some Star Wars names. I will say I'm hoping Echo ends up being a special. At this point, the more specials, the better. If you're not, I prefer specials over movies and TV show. If this shit is fucking awesome, TV show. Don't give us like 8 episodes, even 6 episodes of something that's mid, because it's going to drive me fucking crazy. Just give us little specials about these. If you have to get these characters into the world, that's cool. And then you could throw them in the movies. Echo can be in the upcoming Daredevil or whatever the fuck's going on.
Whatever. Yeah.
Ironheart could be, she was already in Wakanda Forever, right? It's like you can do all this stuff and then not have to give
Mephisto, by the way. Mephisto and Ironheart.
Yes, Mephisto confirmed in Ironheart.
And I'll mention that, yeah.
But I'm going to go fucking bananas. I think Miss Marvel, even if you liked it, loved it, whatever, that's fine. I don't like when people say Marvel fatigue, they're pointing to shows like that, right? Yes. And I don't think you want these shows to be like that as well. So I think like if they're on I think maybe Loki isn't like the bar, but everyone should be striving to be like a Loki, in my opinion.
Absolutely. You should treat TV shows like it's HBO's Sunday night show.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be on a high level. Miss Marvel, if they did that as a special presentation, made it 1 hour, and you kind of did the first 2 episodes where it was she's a huge Miss Marvel fan. She wants to go to AvengerCon in New Jersey or whatever, fails her driving test, goes to AvengerCon. Oh my God, this Bengal gave her powers. She actually saved some people at AvengersCon. And then the next time she uses it, her and Miss Marvel swap places like the post-credit scene. We would have liked it so much more if that was the special. And like, it's nothing against the actress. It's nothing against whatever. It's just the format. Like, they fucked the format on that. We didn't need 6 episodes, 6 hours. I couldn't tell you what the bad guys were looking for in the middle of the show or what. There was an episode where she went back in time with the train and the grandma. Poof, out of my head. I don't remember any of it.
I forgot about the train episode, Bobby.
You know, so it's like if they would have just done that as a special, I think people would have been like, that was one of the most refreshing things from Marvel of the year, because that's how we reacted to the first 2 episodes.
Our boy Large, you know what he did? He watched. He was. By the way, I watched Werewolf by Night. I was like, "Oh, did you like?" He goes, "Loved it." He said, "I said, oh, you got to check out the Guardians one, the holiday special. You're gonna love it." He goes, "I think I'm just gonna watch Werewolf by Night every Christmas now." I'm like,
he said it better. Felt like, he texted me and said it felt like a holiday special to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they did make a holiday special on him.
So all these things, like the special presentation in the beginning, it gives you those big game feels, and then you give us an hour or whatever of this character. I don't think we need more than that. If I'm going back in the day when I had my comic subscription, I go to the store and get my comics. It was X-Men. It would be Spider-Man. It would be whatever. Like these smaller comic characters, you don't have to treat them like they're fucking big. They're not. So I would personally, the less is more. Those are the ones that you buy
the graphic novels of instead of buying the single issues. You're like, hey, I heard that, this compilation of 6 issues was good, so I'll get that one.
Yeah, and our boy Jose will tell us this shit is life-changing when you read it, right? So
yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that even I think Hawkeye was like pretty. There was maybe an episode.
I think Hawkeye was one of the better ones, I would say, though.
Yeah, so it's something like that where maybe Hawkeye's the bar they have to clear. Moon Knight for us.
Moon Knight as a special. Oh my God, that would have been awesome. Even Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I loved, you could have done as a special. You really could have done just a special about Sam trying to accept that title, and you change up the storyline a little bit because you have to or something. But I'd like to see a special on Isaiah Bradley Just give us a flashback special on the old Captain America, like
That would've
back in
been
the
dope.
day. That'd be awesome. You could still do it.
And I feel like when we do these specials instead of TV shows and movies, we're saving money for Disney, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like us logging on and watching Disney Plus every week is making Disney $1 bazillion. If anything, we're hearing how they were basically hemorrhaging money. Bob Iger, we're here to help you, pal. I know you've been listening. Bob Iger, he's subscribed to us, and he listened when he was the CEO of Disney, when he wasn't the CEO of Disney, and he's still listening as the CEO of Disney now. Bobby, give me some free tickets to the park. I'm fucking dying out here, thousands of dollars, and I barely even got the kid to drop his pants until after he heard we were going with someone. So I think Hawkeye should be the bar to clear. If this show isn't gonna be as good as Hawkeye, special that motherfucker. Hour long. It's probably 1/10 the budget on all this stuff, right?
Oh yeah. We're asking for less. Less is more.
Less is more.
All right, Bob. We know you're listening. I picture us like Prestige Worldwide right now, giving a presentation to Bob Iger.
This is the exact way to, like, James Cameron can't say Marvel fatigue if there's not 1,000 shows every year. That fucking big dope is gonna do it next time with his next Avatar movie. Then by the way, he's clearing that $1.5 billion. So
I know. I heard he already made a profit. I heard that. Like, and it's not. I think it was fake news when he said it had to be like the 4th highest grossing movie of all time to turn a budget, because I saw people say we made a profit on the movie. It's done. And interestingly enough, though, it is mostly international stuff. Like, it did well in America, it did very well, but not as well as I think people expected it to. Not anywhere near as well as the first one.
Yeah, exactly. And the funniest thing was when Edie Falco said she thought the movie already came out and bombed because it had been so long since she filmed it and she didn't hear anything about it. Like, that is peak Avatar world in itself. But hey, we're not talking trash about Avatar. At 2024 preview, Avatar will be on the list, and I'll be looking forward to it. I'm going to say I can't wait for James Cameron to get me so invested in these characters. I'm going to be going to the theater. I'm going to have my fucking sandwich with large 9 a.m.
Next time you guys text me, I'll wake up early. I know that you think I'm young. I can't wake up early. I'll make the far trek out there, and I'll go see the next Avatar.
Are you staying local? I mean, Bob, we're going to be local, though. We're not going to be in Ohio. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so staying local, yeah.
Maybe that'll be the second basement show. We'll be at the IMAX at 9:30 in the morning as we're all eating our sandwiches.
Come with your riot gear and your protest gear. We're throwing an anti-Avatar show. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's talk about DC and their Phase 1 plans. We've heard from James Gunn that we're actually going to hear a little bit about their Phase 1 slate this year. He said that in the beginning of this year, he's going to unveil some things. So I said it would be a fun segment on the podcast if we each came up with our Phase 1 for James Gunn's DCU. And I said, let's do 6 projects because that's what Marvel's Phase 1 had. And I think the best way to go about it is we'll just do our full slate. We won't go like 1 for 1, 1 for 1. It's not a draft necessarily.
Yep.
So would you like me to start, or would you like to start yourself?
You start us off, Bob.
Okay, so this is my ideal slate for James Gunn's DCU. Superman. Kick it off with the Man of Steel himself and make this a happy Superman movie. Make it a bright Superman movie. I want Lex Luthor as the main villain, and I want him to spin out like Darth Vader by the end of it. I don't want Lex Luthor to die. I want him to stick around because I think he's a major player in the DC universe. Next thing you do, Peacemaker Season 2 on television. This is a familiar favorite for people already in the DCU. And I think you use Peacemaker Season 2 as an opportunity to up the stakes and bring in a bunch of other DC characters that you kind of tease. So I would bring back Harley Quinn here. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I think it makes sense with the Suicide Squad connection already. I would introduce Poison Ivy as Harley Quinn's girlfriend, which is something that they already do on the Harley Quinn animated series, and people love their dynamic and their relationship. I feel like Peacemaker with the bugs going up the noses and stuff is weird enough to bring in Poison Ivy and make that work.
That's true.
And then I think this is the first place you have Lobo make an appearance. You either tease him at the end of the season, or you end the season with Lobo fucking Peacemaker up in a fight and leaving him in a hospital bed. Something brutal like that.
I didn't think you were going to put up. I thought he was just be fucking Peacemaker. Because Peacemaker's crazy.
Like,
I didn't like it down.
He's not fucking him. Yeah, no, not fucking him. All right. Now,
would you be against watching Jason Momoa and John Cena make love, though? I wouldn't be against it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not into gay stuff, but hey, they're beautiful people.
Beautiful.
I see.
Next thing is a movie, and this is going to be your street level DC movie. Green Arrow and Black Canary. People love these two. They had a comic series together for years, and people loved the Arrow television series with Stephen Amell. I think you do it a little different. You age the character up to kind of make sure people know that this is a different Oliver Queen. You do the classic goatee, maybe even do the classic Robin Hood hat. And this is where you tease and introduce Cyborg. I think they can run into a lab where his dad is making him or something like that. And you're just showing us that this universe is building, it's bigger. Next thing you do, you have to nail, this is a huge one, Lantern Corps television show. You do the Green Lantern in this, and you make it Game of Thrones in space with all of the different Green Lanterns, Yellow Lanterns, Red Lanterns. You give all of them a big, big role in this show. I want as much focus on the other Lantern Corps as much as the Green Lantern. And in this one, you could tease Martian Manhunter since we're going to space and we're slowly building that Justice League up. Now we get to Lobo. We've heard that this is going to be a movie, so that is my 5th project here. And this is where you start to tease the Caped Crusader himself. I think by the end of this movie, you have Lobo and Batman kind of going at it with Clayface. I'm going to bring Clayface into the DCU because I think in Matt Reeves' Gotham, Clayface is a bit too out there. So I'm going to take the more cartoony, crazy Batman villains and bring him in here. And then the post-credit scene for Lobo, Lex Luthor goes to him. Lobo is a bounty hunter and hires him to take out a team of superheroes, or at least Superman. Then my final project in phase 1, most people would think I go with Justice League. I don't go with Justice League. I think it's too soon for that. I go with World's Finest. What is World's Finest? It's Batman and Superman teaming up. So this movie, you have Batman and Superman team up against Lex Luthor, Clayface, and Lobo. That's the 3 villains they're going up against. Batman already works with Robin when we meet him in this movie. So you completely make him different than the Pattinson Batman. You introduce Wonder Woman here. By the end of the movie, you could have them have that moment. Hey, we're forming a team and you know what's coming in the future. And I think by the end of this movie, you could do a full Lobo face turn. So there's my DCU phase 1 Superman, Peacemaker season 2, Green Arrow and Black Canary, Lantern Corps, Lobo, Batman and Superman, World's Finest. And another note for the Batman and Superman movie, because of how Batman v Superman went down and how it was received, sure, you could have them have a quick fight, quick disagreement in the beginning of the movie, get that over with as quickly as possible. I want to see these guys teamed up in the way they're teamed up in the Justice League cartoon. Sure, they butt heads and disagree at times, but they're both good guys.
Hey, I like that. That's a legit fleshed out plan. You're zagging when people think you're going to zig. I like Bob Fox has it all together. Mine is much more higher level because I don't know as much about the DC universe nearly as much as you do. However, we had some similarities, which I thought was pretty interesting. First off, I think we're all on the same page. I said James Gunn only gets one chance just to basically start at 0. And hopefully this is the last time we see DC just start at 0 in their cinematic universe. You start at 0, you put it on the fucking big fella's back, you put it on the franchise player, the big center, your fucking Shaq. I guess they have the same logo, him and Shaq. Your LeBron, your MJ, whatever the fuck you want. Your franchise player is Superman. Stop asking Batman to be your fucking franchise player. He's great on his own, but you have to have like the marketability and like you got to play to like the flyover states to the trends of the world, right?
Yeah,
and that's
kissing
Superman.
Babies and whatnot. Yeah,
exactly. Batman, he talks like this and he fucks people up. He doesn't kill them, but he does everything else that he's layered. He has a lot of dark shit, and we've seen a million Batman movies. Give us that one big Superman movie that we've been talking about. I was talking to I think I was talking to my dad over the break, and he was talking about how big of a deal Superman was when it came out, the movie and stuff like that. And that should be how you think of fucking, Superman for DC for the cinematic universe. So I think we all agree they have to hit this Superman. They have to nail it. And it's also tricky for James Gunn where I don't know if he's going to, do you think he makes it feel like a James Gunn movie where every serious moment has like the ha-ha? Like he has to be careful with that, right? I think we can all agree with that.
I think it's going to have a different tone.
Yeah. There needs to be some checks and balances there to make sure that doesn't happen. I do agree. I think there will be a little bit of a different tone because that's not really Superman's style, right? So
if you're going to take anything from the James Gunn style and put it into this movie, I would love Superman to have a great soundtrack. Like Superman comes down to earth, and like music is one of the things that he kind of falls in love with as a kid. And when he can't relate to the other kids, he goes back and puts a Walkman on at the farm, works on the farm in Kansas, something like that.
got to be careful though. You
You
don't
can't
be
do the awesome
Missouri.
mix. I know. Yeah.
You can't play Brandy. You're a fine girl, right? You have to be very
Yeah.
careful with what goes on. Next up, I'm very skeptical about doing this so soon after Superman. But again, this DCU, we could map this out however we want in terms of timelines and stuff. I don't know anything about this fucking guy, but every time I hear about Green Lantern, I hear about how fucking awesome he is. You start off, you hit Superman, you hit Green Lantern, and they're both fucking good. You're fucking in. Now, this is the thing I'm trying to figure out. Green Arrow. I don't know anything about Green Arrow either. I just know he's in this world, and it always confuses me because I'm like, is Green Arrow the cool one? No, it's Green Lantern. He has the ring, this and that. I don't know if you do something. I was going to say, do you do something with Green Arrow? No. You're throwing Green Arrow. Maybe we do the Black Canary is what you said?
Yeah.
We save that one in the future. We're going Green Lantern. James Gunn. 2 massive projects. Has to hit them both. Boom. Superman, Green Lantern. Next 2 projects. I don't know which order we go in. If we go TV show first or we go with the movie. I want something with villains. I want a villain-centric thing. Think the Suicide Squad. I don't know if you're going with a bunch of, say, B-list, C-list villains, or if you're going something a little bigger. I'm thinking, and I don't know if this should be too Superman-centric, but I want fucking just Luthor. I want a Lex Luthor fucking movie.
I thought about that. No, I don't think that's too much. I thought
it's too much?
Luthor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'd be cool if you built each of them up and then had them meet.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe he isn't the guy and the Superman is an origin. Did Gunn say he's not doing a Superman origin? I think he might have said
I think he said Superman's going to be young, but it's not an origin. I think that's pretty much what he said.
Which is, I think that can play, right? And you could even maybe, there could be Easter eggs about Luthor and in the movie and stuff like that. But I want it to be the point where there's idiots like me who are like, I kind of agree with Lex Luthor. And it's hard to not be on Superman. He's such a pure fucking hero. It would be hard.
Good casting of Luthor. Like people have wanted it for years. And I'm going to say it. And some people are going to be like, oh my God, yes. And some people are going to roll their eyes because this has been a fan cast for 10 years. Bryan Cranston as Lex Luthor. Come on.
The guy did it. The guy, all he did was fuck up innocent people nonstop on Breaking Bad. And you're just like, yeah, but he's a good guy at heart. He's doing it for his family. Everyone, it's crazy how I fucking tweeted out a Breaking Bad clip today about I am the danger. I am the one who knocks. Yeah. And it's like, I love that fucking guy. And he is objectively a horrible, horrible human being. But you see it from his angle. So yeah, fuck it. Let's just go with Luthor. I do think there is something, maybe you do a show or a Suicide Squad or a villains kind of thing where you're dealing with the lesser villains, but we'll bring the big boy in there. We'll put him 4. So then 3, I guess, would be Peacemaker season 2. We know it works. I think even then you could kind of level up a little bit in terms of the other characters that are in it. So it's like, all right, we're paving the way. This isn't quite Guardians level. We're going to go a little bigger than the Guardians in terms of the level of character. I don't know if you're going to have maybe Green Arrow shows up there. Maybe like, I think Wonder Woman's a little too big, but again, we have to start getting these people in, and I don't think you're going to want to do full-blown movies, but I know fucking Peacemaker is going to be something I love. So those are the top 4. And then my next one, I just like saying this phrase, a Batman adjacent movie. I like saying adjacent.
Nice.
I'm not going to,
you sounded proper when you said that.
Yes. I want to throw a Batman movie in here. But I also know it's going to be very hard. Batman is a big fucking deal. Anytime he's on the screen, it's fucking huge. Robbie's not sleeping at night. He's so excited for it. So maybe if someone that's somehow a Gotham movie and Batman's in it, a Gotham show.
Nightwing?
You
do like Nightwing, and it's like in this universe, yeah, he's already graduated from being Robin. Like Batman exists, but we don't have to talk about him much.
Yes, exactly. So you could do it because we're gonna have some sort of Batman stuff already, right? Like that's not they're not killing the Reeve stuff, right?
No.
Okay.
That'll be continuing, and that's also why with my list I didn't do anything Batman. My final thing was just Batman and Superman. Like, we don't need 2 Batman franchises going on at once.
Exactly, and we already talked about how like you guys are starting back at 0. Don't like put like, or now you have 3 Batmans, and here's the 4th Batman, and this Batman is a girl Batman. It's like, let's not get too crazy with
Welcome
that
to
right
the
now.
Batverse.
Yes, we're in the Batverse. Oh god damn it. And then my last one, and it's kind of just a grab bag. It's basically choose someone from the Justice League, because I feel like the Justice League is going to be the Avengers of the cinematic universe. I feel like that'll probably be in phase 2. So choose your Wonder Woman, your Flash, preferably someone who's not an international terrorist. Anyone else out there, I don't care. I do think Wonder Woman does make sense, because I think do you go now? Are you staying with the same Wonder Woman? That is the question.
I don't think so. No, I think
Yeah.
I think if you're rebooting Superman and Batman and all that, we talked about this on the Long Take, which you could listen to on the Lights Camera Barstool feed. We looked through a couple actresses that we were like, who could step into that Wonder Woman role. We kind of agreed on Alicia Vikander, who played Laura Croft in the last Tomb Raider movie. I think she would be a really good Wonder Woman. And now you could go with someone that looks a little different in terms of like maybe people were saying about Gal Gadot when she was cast. They were like, she's not muscular enough to like be on the battlefield. And Alicia Vikander probably has a similar build to Gal Gadot. Maybe you want to cast someone that has a little more of a muscular frame just to differentiate the Wonder Woman. Like I was thinking about that with Aquaman. Your next Aquaman's got to have short blonde hair, right? So people don't compare him to Jason Momoa. You kind of have to make all of these characters just a little bit different than the last incarnation we had.
So that's, I mean, and I was thinking Aquaman as well. And the thing that sucks is that we just are having a movie, same as the Flash, right? It's like you're just having a Flash movie, and then you're following up with another one in this, even though it could be years later. But I do feel like we need to have one more of the Justice League at some point. And I do think like Wonder Woman just makes sense because she is such a badass character, and she feels like you got to have tent poles, right, of this franchise. Like,
and I wanted to put a Wonder Woman movie on my list, but I looked it up. Like the first Wonder Woman movie came out in 2017. We're already rebooting that.
Is it? Or
first
it was only 2017.
Yeah, and then the second one came out in 2020, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like, holy shit, we're rebooting quick. It reminds me of the Jason Bourne, the James Bond thing. Like spoilers for the last James Bond movie. If nobody saw No Time to Die, came out a year ago. He dies at the end. Now, I didn't see this movie. I just know that from people talking about it. Then I realized the plan has always been just reboot James Bond. We're doing it right away. It's not like the franchise is on hold, so like we need some finality or whatever. Why the fuck did they kill James Bond? We're bringing him right back. Why didn't you give him? Why didn't you have fucking Alfred at the end of the bar go? Like Dark Knight Rises. Give him one of those endings. Why did they kill him? You don't need to kill James Bond. That pissed me off, and I haven't even seen the movie.
I didn't even know that. That fucking that broke my heart. And I wasn't
sorry.
I wasn't gonna see it anyway, but I
was gonna say, if you haven't seen it by now, you can't be mad about the spoiler, right?
If you gave me 1,000 tries to like guess the name of the Bond movie, like the name, like the title of it, I would have never gotten it either. I mean, like The Day's End, The Razor's Edge, like all this silly.
I like Bond movies, but I was never a Bond guy, to be honest.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. And again, I'm not a car chase guy, and there's always one of them, so my eyes glaze over for that for like 10 minutes every movie. So I guess
I'm a big Casino Royale guy. Like that first movie with Craig blew me away. Everything since it, I felt like hasn't been as good as that.
I like Daniel Craig as my Bond. I like Pierce Brosnan because he's such a handsome man as my Bond. And again, GoldenEye like changed the world back when I was a kid playing Nintendo 64. So I guess there it is. I guess I'll stick with Wonder Woman. Fuck it. If they're killing Bond, we can reboot Wonder Woman. I mean, at this point, it would be like 7 years after the last one came out, but it feels. True. How many people even saw 1984? That's the question.
I know it was dumped on HBO Max, but it was also dumped on HBO Max during Christmas, so everyone was home. You know, it was like
Bob, that they didn't have any 80s music in it. You told me they didn't have any 80s music in it. They don't deserve.
They had like one song. Yeah,
I shouldn't.
That was really bad. You know what was sucked too is it was a really bad movie with a really good post credit scene. They brought fucking Linda Carter back in the post credits.
Really? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and it was like it ended on a note that almost made you forget how bad the movie was. Where you're like, oh shit, Linda Carter, like that was cool. And then but Pedro Pascal tried his ass off in that movie. He tried.
He tried. Yeah. Put that on a fucking tombstone. Here lies Pedro Pascal. He tried. And I'm sure he'll be back in one of these cinematic universes of this or Marvel. And I know people don't want to see The Rock in the MCU. Give me The Rock in. The thing is, it's hard to make The Rock in that. I want The Rock in the MCU, but I also realize like The Rock he wouldn't be like, or I'll just be like, as much as I choose him over Vin Diesel, The Rock would not be cool being Groot. He would not want to be Groot. He needs to be on the screen.
I just thought of the most perfect role for The Rock in the history of movies.
Let's hear it.
He's got to be the Thing.
Boom.
He is the Rock. He's a rock. The Rock made of rocks. How is the Rock not the Thing already?
Oh, he's more of the Thing than he is a wrestler.
Get me on the phone with Marvel now. I need to call Waldron. We might need to end this podcast, and I'll go right on the phone with Waldron and say, listen, I know you're a wrestling fan. Heels, shout out Heels, great show.
Yes, shout out Heels.
Let's get Dwayne in the MCU as the Rock himself. And he'll be like, wait a minute. Are you talking about the Thing? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm talking about the fucking Thing. Boom.
And like Rock, he's just being the Rock in the movies. No, Rock. If you want to be the Thing, which is the greatest fucking role for you, I got to hear it's clobbering time. And the Rock is, clobbering time. No, it's clobbering time. You got to have a little bit of bass.
Oh man, this is gonna be good. We're gonna get on the phone with Marvel. We'll talk to Feige about it. We'll talk to Dwayne. Have his people talk to our people. Have their people talk to Marvel's people, and we'll cast him in Fantastic Four.
We get a finder's fee for this, right?
Oh yeah, a commission. Yeah, we get a percentage of the box office. I think.
All right.
Pretty sure that's how that's works.
Yeah. This is the year of the Basement Boys, baby.
All right, this is the year of the Basement Boys. This was a long episode. In comic terms, I believe they would call this a giant-sized annual episode of My Mom's Basement. And again, the first of our show goals this year is to get up to 50,000 subscribers. So if you've made it this far and you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button below and tell your friends about the podcast this year. That would be an awesome resolution for our listeners as well. If you like the podcast, if you know your friends watch Star Wars movies, Marvel movies, DC movies, if they're nerdy at all, or if they're into rock and roll and music, as I said, more music content this year, let them know about the channel. Say there's this great channel, My Mom's Basement. Word of mouth helps a lot.
If you made it this far in the podcast, just go on YouTube, search My Mom's Basement, and just click subscribe. Keep the lights on here. Keep the lights on because we don't want to disappear. We don't want to get Thanos fucking ashed away. We got a billion fucking things coming up in terms of shows and movies, and then we're creating stuff on the fly that now we have to cover when it goes to the big screen.
I know The Last of Us is coming out soon too, and I want to cover that on this show.
Yeah,
that's like January 15th. That's like in 2 weeks.
Hashtag Year of the Basement Boys. If you made it that far,
I love that.
Hashtag of the fucking pod.
There you go. Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring the pod, and thank you to the listeners for making it to the end of this episode. We will talk to you guys next week.